How long are you willing to choose to feel hopeless? Now, I'm not saying that to call anybody out. I'm saying that because that's the question that I had to deal with myself for a very, very, very long time. Um, I've been too afraid to make this video for probably going on nearly a decade. I've wanted to create content that is authentic, that is real, that is encouraging, that's hopeful. But I've been afraid. I've been afraid because who am I to encourage people? Who am I to be an expert on any of this stuff? I feel like the internet's just so full of internet experts on different topics and self-help, and all I can just ever see is everyone around me, not everyone, but all I can see is just so many people around me um, who are just really struggling with feeling beyond motivation, just feeling purpose, feeling excitement, feeling joy, feeling endorphins, feeling hopeful that whatever they're building or whatever they want to build or just however they want people to experience the world with them is pointless, doesn't exist anymore, has been turned on its head, upside down. Um, and it's really affected me, and I've wanted to talk about it for a long time, and I never felt qualified. And that is fear, I've learned. That is choosing to feel hopeless. Like nothing I can create is worth it, is worth people's time, um, is going to help. I mean, I literally this office that I'm in, I put this wallpaper up genuinely a year ago because I said, finally, I've got my office. I can get the perfect backdrop. You can even see there's like white holes where I had put a backdrop up or like pieces of furniture and artwork. I didn't like it. I took it down. I rearranged stuff. I couldn't find the right plant. I took it down. Fear of, I got busy, sure, with life and with work, but also it was, I'm not gonna get taken seriously. It doesn't look as professional or doesn't look as this. And I want this channel to be much more authentic than that. I don't want this channel to be another brand. I don't want this channel to be another expert series. I want this channel to grow into a community. I want this channel to be a place that really spotlights the hope that's in the world and the healing that's going on every day. So I don't have a script. Yeah, if you can tell, I have a couple little notes that I literally have jotted down, so you might see me looking at them, but there's no pre-recorded script. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, but I know sort of a direction. So step number one is that I want to just encourage you with is just to get started. I mean, you can find a countless number of YouTube videos online where people just say, just start making content, just start your business, just start your organization you want to start, just start serving people. And it's very hard to do, starting something that's brand new, especially when you feel um, underprepared. We live in a society now where everything has to be so perfect from the beginning, right? There's so much on the internet, there's so much on YouTube that, it's easy to start. It's easy to get all this stuff. It's easy to reach a certain level. And that holds a lot of people back from actually really getting started. And so I'm taking a little bit of my own medicine, and there's nothing that I would ever say that I wouldn't do myself. I would never not practice what I preach. So I just want to encourage you to get started, even with whatever's going on in the world right now. You still have this hope inside of you. You still have this dream inside of you. You still have this burning desire inside of you that, in essence, is going to make the world a better place if you start it. So, what was a major part of my fear journey was I got dizzy. It was March 20th of 2022. I was working on set and the room just started spinning. I was standing there, and all of a sudden, I just kind of started floating like this, and it was terrifying. Went to a bunch of doctors. Everything looked fine, thankfully, and was really struggling in a relationship at the time. Ended up coming back home to basically my childhood home. Dizzy. Went through a proper divorce, and um, I remember one morning I woke up and I was in my parents' retirement community home. 3 years of my stuff was packed in a room, and I was on the floor just crying because I had no idea what was happening to me. I had no idea where I was. Life was going a very clear direction, and all of a sudden, it wasn't. The whole world was turned upside down, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are feeling right now in some type of way. I feel like we all really thought that the world was moving in a direction, and then it feels like everything has been turned on its head, whether that be political or social or professional or finance wise. It feels like the whole world has been it was like I like to call it when Fortnite had the map and then they just flipped the island and it was a whole new island underneath it. I feel like that's what our world has become for a lot of people right now. Is we don't even recognize the terrain. It's like we're in an alien planet. We're on an alien planet, um, with where we thought we were headed, and now there's just new everything. Um, and for me, that was physical dizziness. I was dizzy 24/7 from the moment I woke up to the moment that I went to sleep. There were days when it was too hard to cook my own food. It was I almost fell over like going to the bathroom. It was I was afraid to drive. It was tough. It was very, very, very tough. Um, but my mindset shifted in the middle of that process, through a lot of grief, through a lot of struggle, through a lot of trial, and my mindset finally shifted about 2.5, 3 years into that recovery process, um, where you can't give up. I went to countless doctors. I went to so many experts who knew what was going on with me. And the amount of times that it felt like doctors were just Googling stuff when I told them my symptoms, it was infuriating. It was really hard. But can't give up because I ended up in a job that I never thought I would do. But that job led me to a networking group that I never thought I would be in. That led me to close friends and a personal network that I never thought I'd meet. That led me to doctors that I never knew existed, which have now led me to the doctor that I found who was able to actually, I guess for lack of a better term, not cure me, but actually was the true expert in exactly what I was going through. And it took years to find that path. But in those years, I I grew. I grew as a person. I grew as a man. I grew as a provider. If you looked at just the outside of my life in those couple of years, you you would think it was the busiest, most fruitful, productive years of my life that I ever had. And the truth is, internally, it was the most difficult, by far, time of my life. So it just goes to show that two things can exist at the same time. Everyone is going through multiple. If life is a Venn diagram, circle over here, everyone is kind of living in that middle part of the Venn diagram where the circles all converge. Multiple things are happening to people at the same time. So yes, something's happening in the world over here, but also in reality, you still have to pay your rent. You're dizzy. Life makes no sense, but you still have your parents who have a birthday coming up. Life is so integrated with all of these different elements that it's really easy to become overwhelmed when we think that we have to have the perfect answer or the perfect direction. But you just can't give up. That was what I learned through that whole process. I want this channel to also represent creative resilience. So one of the things I've really had to develop is creative resilience. And how hard is it to be creative when you're down? When life is beating you up, when life seems unfair, when there's no justice, when there's no peace. But that, in my opinion, is the work of evil. Evil wants you to think that there's no point. Evil wants you to think that creativity is worthless. Evil wants you to think that you are small. It wants you to think that you have no say in the future. It wants you to think that you are a victim. It wants you to think that you have to stay a victim. Evil wants darkness. Whether you're a believer of some type of faith or just in the universe of some type of way, there is some type of evil force that I truly believe as souls, as spirits, we can feel it. And what that evil wants you to do is stay in terror, just where the term terrorist comes from. It wants you to stay in terror. It wants you to stay paralyzed. And so, right, there's so much evil in the world right now. There's so much from everything politically to everything social to everything here, everything next door, everything around the world. There's so much evil that's very clear and direct in our face. So what's the point, right? That's where our mindset can fall. What's the point? What's the point of anything? Why should I try? Why should I do this? How can I really help? Okay, I'm gonna give my time for 5 hours on one day to raise awareness to something. But then what's the point? No one's gonna listen. Nothing's really ever gonna change. And a mindset that I want to invite you into is just to remember that just because you are now discovering evil doesn't mean it hasn't always existed since the beginning of time. So to think that the world is getting worse is a mindset that can actually just really keep you limited, because the world had a lot of evil in it way before you were here. And it had a lot of evil in it while you were being born. So just because the wool, so to speak, is being pulled back from our eyes, maybe more than it had been in years past, it almost makes it more important for creativity, for hope. Because the moment that you convince yourself that it's pointless, that evil has just won, well, then you actually lose what life is all about. Because if you look through history, very few people in history have ever had the chance to actually affect society. Very few people. Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther, Protestant Reformation, people like that who have genuinely shifted society. It's very, very few people in history. And so when we give ourselves the pressure that we have to be that's what becomes overwhelming. I think social media sometimes can give us this kind of false narrative that we have to have that level of impact or else it's pointless. Like, I have to be Martin Luther King Jr. in my level of change that I bring to the world, or else it's literally pointless. And what that actually does is it keeps us out of real life. So social media is not real life. The internet is not real life. It's a way to view a lens of what happens in real life. But what is real life is also your neighbor. It's also the person who lives beneath you. It's also your family. It's also the people at your school. It's also the people at your job. That is your real life. So if something's happening way across the world, and that's real life, then yes, that's true. But you also have to accept that real life is what's happening immediately around you. So what I want to invite you into is, what can you affect in your real life? The life that is immediately around you. I like to think about it in the terms of, if you really want to affect the world, you've just got to affect one person. And I think that word affect is really important, because I think that word has lost its meaning in a lot of conversations. Affecting a person is loving a person. Loving is sacrifice. So to affect somebody, it means to genuinely sacrifice of yourself to affect that person, to help that person, to impact that person in some way. So I just want to invite you to take a look around you in your immediate circle. And what are you really doing about it? What could you be doing about it? Is there more that you can sacrifice in the immediacy of the world around you? Is there someone tangibly that you can think of in your head right now that you could reach out to and effectively be a part of their life in some way? And in my opinion, I think that's really the only way that we affect society as a whole, 99% of us. So going back to creative resilience, I think right now it's really easy to give up. It's really easy to think that we don't have what it takes, that everybody else is learning things faster, that my goal, dream, business, life doesn't matter, that there are bigger issues going on, and my spirit, what's in my soul, really doesn't matter. And I want to invite you into the idea that that is a wild take. And if you're feeling that, I want to invite you into the idea. You don't have to be a believer of any kind of religion or anything like that, but just I want to invite you into the mindset of you were created by something. Your soul, your spirit, your brain was created for this moment. You were born exactly when you were supposed to be born, in the exact time that you were supposed to be here, with the exact brain, the exact personality, the exact goals and dreams and visions that this moment needs. So I just want to encourage you that whatever it is that you're looking to start, what evil wants is for you to not start it because of what the world looks like right now. What the world needs is for you to start that thing, because your soul, your spirit needs to be shown through whatever it is you're trying to build, and that will lead the world to the place that you are hoping that it will go to. So here's what I want to invite you to do. I want to invite you to do two things. I want you to leave a comment down below. I'm going to say this differently so I can just get it right. I want you to leave a comment down below of what it is that you are currently afraid to start. I'm going to challenge you to open yourself and be a little bit vulnerable to strangers on the internet. I'm going to challenge you, because all it takes is step one. My second invitation is, once you comment what you are afraid to start, I want you to leave an encouraging comment on someone else's fear. So go through the comment section, find somebody else who's afraid to start something, and I want you to send out a comment of encouragement to them. I would love for this to, I don't know, help one or two people and just kind of see what happens. And I don't really know how to end this first video. I'm very excited about the journey that this is. Also, feel free to let me know other kind of encouraging mindset type content you guys might be interested in. But I'm going to let it be imperfect. That's a huge step for me. And I'm going to own that. And I'm going to probably just end the video now.